Adano ada ene beto dwa se FBI etimi aba befa abu Trica na me patcho de betom ene se na ye nyina nim se abu Trica woni Ghana ha FBI for etimi aba befa no e de free oman Ghana mu ha na ye da sole ya abu Trica enya konya ene ne two compatriots abrantia ye fe no eye Emmanuel Kujo Daniel Yusuf omo enya kwanya etimi abepiem enso Ogwesi district court ni nyina 8 million romance kama ebeto dwa se wetimi akokoden abu America ni bi ka twa wetimi agi 8 million US dollars edi egu no kotu kuma odin nkakra ne ade a enti ebeto dwa se FBI eba befa no was say rules and regulations ha and say Ghana empen for be further investigation na afin so matimi eje mu say abu Trica ene ne compatriot no omunya konya enkokupiem enso USA FBI omo asoye na afin so no further investigation omu entiminye na ene omu bepie mu enso Ogwesi district court no de beto dwa ene say dia according to abu Trica no lawyer no the FBI for enya further evidence be a chance abu Trica enedie wetimi askame bruni agin 8 million US dollars ya odi na no mo hwe no se ekwan bia so mbetimi enya bill ediama mlanti ablanti ifa Emmanuel Kujo ban open abu Trica ene Daniel Yusuf ombetimi enya bill ede amamnante nanso no entimi enwie peye na de beto dwane se ebasanka mu ehwense se ebia omuma abu Trica kla bill kla na ankahwe bi abranti efen Daniel Yusuf ni kumi ombe kokoten etimi ejaom na afenso no Christmas ya ebe ombetimi adi Daniel Yusuf ni Bernard Edudie ankahwe bi ankombenya Christmas bi adi nenso lawyer anasa judge otremu echese ensem omode baye na entoto asumu sa enti enya dia ombenya konya akokoden etimi amom ene bia enti de beye ene se ya omo enkota abankukum kakra on the 13th of January no ombetimi akokoden ejaom na so ombetimi asaba bipiem ewa ha na afenso another investigation omatimi aye before that ya omanya konya se ida se omasem ye de yeni evidence omuni abanu any evidence bia echese abu Trica wanya konya akokoten afrodu broni bidia na eho no omotimi the judgment no etimi aba na mom se eba se omoba na koma eba ne se abu Trica eyampampa no wetimi akokoden afrodu obidia hwie bi omode ombekwa koma FBI na omotimi ayomo investigation eno eye report wa epaye na ne lawyer si ombegina mu edima abu Trica ene emlanti efe no eye Daniel Yusuf ene Bernard Edui omo ekasai ekirechire mu ede ekoso court wo enti yenya konya na afenso yenkotie enkoma ekoso wo court no yenkotie emra na yeba na afenso wetimi edo comment ede ato comment section so free for abu Trica anase ene abu Trica wedi ensem money yenko. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel no edi amai na channel no etimi egro.
Carry on. The Minister of Interior is given 5 weeks to furnish the court with further and better particulars as to how and why A2 and A3 should be before. this court. We are coming back on the 13th of January. So essentially that is what transpired. But we'll go back to the drawing board. We believe in the innocence of all the accused persons. So we definitely need from us.
So, what transpired today is that the three accused persons have been arraigned before the Executive Court, and the counsel for A1 and A3 applied for the matter to be heard by a properly seized district court, which has proper jurisdiction, based on the territorial jurisdiction from which the accused persons were arrested. And this flows from Section 51(5) of the Court Act, as well as the Extradition Act, Act 22. So that was the gravamen of discourse today with the court, and then with the state attorney. But the court, we raised a preliminary legal objection regarding hearing the jurisdictional issue. That's the formal application that has been placed on before the court. Now the proper court should hear the jurisdictional issue. So the preliminary legal objection was about the proper court to hear the application proper. And then the court said she seized with the jurisdiction. So she vacated that preliminary legal objection. We are coming back on the 13th of January to determine the formal application before the court, before we even go into the merit of the extradition proceedings, wherein if the requesting state has brought in the documentations which will inform the court, the proper court, if after the application is properly heard and we know if it's basic court or Medina or anywhere from relating to where they were arrested, then we know which court will properly hear the extradition proceedings, and based on what evidence the court would determine either the persons or the accused persons or the fugitives, as they claimed, will be transmitted or released to the American people if they is found on merit and not convoluted by political witch hunting and all that, as the law requires, should be gone into before any person will grant it, either through diplomatic channels or judicial process. So basically, that's what happened.
There was the issue of a fourth accused person who had mask on, and then there was the occasion for you to request for his identity to be known. How did that go?
That one, we had to determine it in chambers. It borders on security. Yes, so I wouldn't want to go into it. Yes.
Okay. As far as the grant of bail is concerned, my lady indicated that she wasn't convinced that they would appear before the court. Looking at the nature of the case, the wide scope of it, and she definitely dismissed the bill. How did it come to you? How did you hear about that?
Yes, as you heard, the counsel do the application from A1 to A3, and then the prosecution's state attorney also making a submission. Bail is at the discretion of the court, but when you read the fine black letter law of Act 22, bail for A1 whose name is returned on the indictment has not really crystallized. That's why we didn't apply for bail for A1. But A2 and A3, their names are not on the indictment that was returned by the USA or the Department of Justice of the United States. So that's why we prayed for bail. But still, per Article 1914 and then Section 96 is still with the bosom of the court, the judge, and she exercised her discretion in favor of the state rather than the accused persons or the alleged fugitives, which we know A2 and A3's names are not on the indictment from the USA, and then it's just for the state to hold them that they are just collateral damage from the arrest of A1, and then they've also been arraigned. So that was the argument we were putting forth as a team, yes.
Now that this has happened, what happens to A1, Frederick Kumi, being the lead suspect in all of this?
That one remains strategy. We can't put it out here. So we'll end it at that. Thank you so much.
All right, Counsel, thank you.